Henry VIII had been very strategically left a letter by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Cranmer, in the Holy Day closet in the Chapel Royal at Hampton Court Palace. The letter accused Henry's teenage wife, Katherine Howard, of dissolute living. They had only been married 1 year, 3 months, and 5 days. There had just been a special service of Thanksgiving, and Henry had quite literally just thanked God that after so many strange accidents had befallen my marriages, thou hast been pleased to give me a wife so entirely conformed to my inclinations as her I have now. With the letter now in hand, as he read each word, shock set in. Henry was in a state of incredulity. He immediately summoned the Archbishop to his chambers. Cranmer had originally been afraid to tell the king in person all that he had learned for fear of his reaction. Henry could not believe any of the accusations were true and told Cranmer, "You are not to desist until you have got to the bottom of the pot." Katherine was then put in house arrest in her apartments at Hampton Court, and Henry left. Little did he know he would never see her again. Katherine was practicing a dance with her ladies when the guards arrived in her rooms. She was told to stop, followed by the majority of her servants being dismissed. Katherine was first angry and then horrified. She had no idea what was going on. She stopped eating and couldn't sleep. On the 6th and 7th of November, 1541, Cranmer finally visited the Queen's apartments in hopes of getting a confession. The Queen was in such lamentation and heaviness that it would have pitied any man's heart in the world to have looked upon her. Cranmer had no proof Katherine had been adulterous, and even if she had done anything before her marriage to Henry, that wasn't technically illegal. He had to get her to confess. Katherine was in such a state, some even were afraid that she was on the verge of a mental breakdown. Cranmer was able to calm her slightly by presenting a letter from Henry that promised her mercy if she acknowledged her wrongdoings. When Katherine finally realized the king would show mercy and be gentle with her, she began to calm down. She expressed profound gratitude and held up her hands and gave the most humble thanks, for the king had showed her more grace and mercy than she herself could have hoped for. Katherine continued to sob and weep, but she vowed to answer Cranmer's questions truthfully and faithfully. She continued in cycles of calm, horror, hysteria, melancholy, and tears. But eventually, Cranmer did get his confession. Though she never denied ever being formally pre-contracted to her former lovers, which might have legally voided her marriage to Henry, Katherine did make admissions regarding her conduct before she was queen, acts which she had failed to disclose before she married Henry. Katherine had been sent to live with her step-grandmother, the Dowager Duchess of Norfolk, when she was a young girl after the early passing of her mother. The Duchess's household had many young girls living there and was known for its slack supervision and discipline. It was in this environment that Katherine's young, scandalous relationships unfolded, and now she was forced to recount them. She began by confessing her earliest indiscretion with her music teacher, Henry Manox. Katherine admitted that in her vulnerable youth, at the flattering and fair persuasion of Manox, she had permitted him to handle and touch the secret parts of my body on multiple occasions. Next, she came clean about her deeper involvement with the gentleman usher Francis Dereham. She admitted that Dereham hath lain with me numerous times, sometimes fully clothed and other times 2 or 3 times naked. Furthermore, because of the rumors that they would soon marry, she confirmed that she had agreed to Dereham's request to call each other husband and wife. The ultimate confession, the legal, fatal blow, was her intentional silence. She admitted she was so desirous to be taken unto your grace's favor and so blinded with the desire of worldly glory that she made the conscious choice to hide her entire past from the king. It was this act of deception and concealment, not the original youthful mistakes, that the king's ministers twisted into an act of treason against the crown. With the necessary admissions secured, Catherine's fate was sealed. On February 13th, 1542, Katherine Howard faced the block with a composure that belied the terror and hysteria of the preceding months. She offered a short, resigned speech before the axe fell. Her time as queen had lasted less than 18 months. But the young queen did not leave Hampton Court Palace quietly. Though her execution took place at the Tower, it is Hampton Court Palace that became the site of her restless, desperate, spectral return. Legend says that on the day she was formally arrested and stripped of her title, Katherine, realizing the full horror of her fate, broke free from the guards outside of her apartment. Driven by sheer panic and a desperate will to live, she ran shrieking down the corridor, now known as the Haunted Gallery, towards the Chapel Royal, where Henry VIII was at prayer. She intended to throw herself at his feet and beg his personal mercy before he signed her death warrant. She was caught by the guards just feet from the chapel door, seized and forcibly dragged back down the corridor, her terrified, agonizing screams echoing off the stone walls. To this day, her mournful plea is said to repeat itself. Visitors and staff in the Haunted Gallery report sudden, precipitous drops in temperature, the sensation of an unseen presence rushing past them, and the distinct sound of a young woman's desperate, heart-rending wails, the eternal echo of Queen Katherine Howard's final, futile bid for life.